COVID made it so we can't play together, so I found a way to play with myself. What is good, everybody? Joe from Yugioh. It's been a while since you've seen my face. It's probably a good thing to some of you haters out there. But without further ado, I've come back with a very strange video today. This is a little bit out of the box. Probably something you may have heard before of people doing. So what I got today is, I guess it's still a deck profile, but not for dueling other people. Obviously, if you played this deck and someone droll and lockbirded you, you'd be done. That's it. No play, no other way to go. This is kind of what the title of the video says, Solitaire in Yugioh. So to give you a bit of backstory, it all started with, you've probably heard this joke before with how broken decks are nowadays. Them going first, just doing a million plays. You never get to play. It's like you're watching the person play solitaire. So this started 50% with that joke and 50% of me constantly testing hands whenever I don't have nobody to duel, especially throughout COVID, or even if you're waiting for those two friends who take forever to finish a match, you know, you're just going through your deck. And I thought to myself, what if I actually had more than just running my basic combo, just something simple, you know, just what I could do. And I remember back in the day at an old friend's house, we would do this thing where we had an Exodia deck, and if you weren't dueling, you just sat there the whole time trying to draw all through to getting Exodia. And it's almost like its own little solitaire game where you're just off to the side playing your Exodia deck, and if you draw Exodia, you won the game. If not, if you misplayed something or you just didn't draw the right cards to do it, you scrap it, shuffle it, and do it again. So without further ado, I'll show you what cards I have in this 40 card deck and how I play solitaire in Yu-Gi-Oh when I'm bored. And you can give me your comments and thoughts in the section below. All right, let's get into it. So to start off, of course, for an Exodia deck, you do need all 5 pieces of Exodia. It's just going to help, obviously, with the whole point of an Exodia deck. And the whole thing this deck centers around, it's very old school, and I might be really outdated with some of my draw cards, so make sure you let me know in the comment section how I could update this besides spending a lot of money on engages and stuff. But Royal Magical Library is going to be, with its spell counter effect, going to be the main way you just keep looping and going deep into this deck. So what I normally do to start this game, if you will, is I just draw till I have a Royal Magical Library and I just keep shuffling until I open a hand with one. But if you want to save yourself time of doing that, you can just put one Royal Magical Library in your hand and just draw 4 cards. I mean, you're playing by yourself. Who the hell is going to care about the rules? And that is literally it for the monsters in the deck. Going on, it's just a bunch of spells that go, that draw or do some sort of searching or adding, and the main thing is just to activate spells while you have Royal Magical Library, because every time he gets to 3 spell counters, which he acquires by spells being activated, you can remove them and draw a card, and it's not once per turn. So starting off is our 3 Magical Citadel of Endymion. This is going to once per turn, but you can overplay the copies to get it again. It's going to be able to remove spell counters off itself to replicate a card's effect, so you can get an additional draw if you got both these bad boys on the field at the same time. Probably one of the better cards in the deck to help you draw is going to be 2 Spell Power Grasp. This puts a spell counter on a card, and then on top of that, searches itself, plus it's activating a spell, so essentially this is going to put 2 spell counters on your library and give you something to discard for some of your discard cards. Now, what I find to be the best card to open with your Royal Magical Library, in my opinion, is going to be Toon Table of Contents. This card is just so broken because if you just open one with the Royal Magical Library, you activate it, it searches another, you activate it, it searches another. Well, not another, technically, you go into Toon World after that, and then you put 3 spell counters while thinning the deck, getting yourself another spell card to use after you remove those counters to draw, and it's just nice, quick way to get through a bunch of spells. Then, going forward, we got 3 Cursed Bamboo Sword. Now, 3 is a little overkill. I've actually realized this is probably going to get cut to 2. There's really no point of having 3 in here, especially since once it's used, it's used. It's really just to search your other bamboo cards. We have 2 broken bamboo and of course 3 golden. So if I could make any early suggestions for this, I would just take out 1 cursed bamboo, but definitely keep at least 2. it's just really nice to have. And these cards are going to help you, especially Golden Bamboo is going to be your main target for 2 other spells in this deck more often than not. Another card that's a little niche but really helps is Double Summon. I run 2 because not only is it just activatable, doesn't really need anything on the field, it's also nice to get an extra Royal Magical Library on the field, which can just really make this deck get to Exodia even faster. And it's just fun to do on the side where you're killing some time. 2 Foolish Burial Goods, because if you can hit that Cursed Bamboo with this, it's a really nice play. Help get some cards out the deck and put those spell counters on that magical library. You see the main point of all this shit in this deck, obviously. As I mentioned earlier, there's 2 spells that you're going to be using a lot when you've already used your hard once per turn spells and have their extra copies in your hand. That's going to be 2 Hand Destruction and 2 Magical Stone Excavation. So Hand Destruction, each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, then draws 2 cards. That's just mainly to dump the dead cards. And then Magical Stone Excavation is what's going to help you get that Golden Bamboo back from the grave. So discard 2 cards, which are also going to be your dead cards, but then it lets you add a spell card from your grave back to your hand. So they both get rid of the dead cards, and Magical Stone Excavation has a little extra plus to it. So next up, of course, Pot of Duality. Obviously you will be doing no special summoning in this. We run 3 just because it's a really good card to have and to get to, especially because it can get you that specific card that's really going to further the drawing of this deck. And like I said, just for the previously mentioned cards, if you have extra copies of this Pot of Duality, then you can eventually dump them for something else, and it's not that big of a deal. Because when it's going good for you in this deck, you will potentially have more than 7, sometimes 8 cards in your hand. I do run 2 Magical Mallet. Sometimes I put 3 in this deck, but there's just so many draw cards it's hard to choose from. And Magical Mallet is more of when there's only like 10 cards left in the deck and you got like 8 or 9 cards in your hand and you just want to just be like, okay, I'm pretty sure unless I'm super unlucky after this shuffle, I'll have all Exodia in my hand. And obviously you're not racing against any clock necessarily, but it's just fun when this deck actually works out even though you're doing it by yourself. And then the last 2 cards of the deck are just straight up freebies, I guess you'd say, because you're not dueling nobody, and that would be Upstart and One Day Apiece. Now don't get me wrong, theoretically, if you were playing some super budget friend who doesn't have Ash Blossoms or any hand traps in his hand, you went first with this deck and you got a good hand, yeah, you'd draw to Exodia and you'd win. But then game 2, they could literally summon any monster and you lose. So that's why I said this isn't really a deck for dueling. It's more of a trolley / solitaire purpose of this game. And you know, it's just really fun to do. One thing I will recommend though is if you're gonna do this, it does take a good amount of dice just to have on hand, because you're gonna wanna keep track of all your spell counters while you're playing this by yourself. It's just something I've learned the hard way when trying to keep track of my spell counters, and even though I'm not playing against anybody, I still wanna be honest if I actually got to Exodia or not. But yeah, so if you'd like, I'd do just a quick little test hand and see how this goes, and we can see what's up. Starting with a Royal Magical Library, I'll draw my extra 4 cards. Okay, not bad actually. This is pretty decent. This is actually really good. Okay, so what we'll do, normal summon Royal Magical Library, of course. From here, I would probably just Foolish Burial Goods first, putting 1 spell counter on this, dumping our Cursed Bamboo, and searching a Golden Bamboo since we got the broken in hand. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And this is where it begins. Just using your spells, keeping track of your spell counters, and seeing what you could do. So from here, I would, again, probably try to get some of the searching out the way. Spell Power Grasp, which is going to take this to 3. And search another Spell Power Grasp out the deck so we don't draw it all stupid and dead-like until we're ready to draw a card that lets us discard it. You know how it goes. So we shuffle, we shuffle, we shuffle, we shuffle. Hope Exodia comes sooner than later. So next, effect of Royal Magical Library, remove, draw. We got a Pot of Duality. That's not bad. This Pot of Duality, well, sorry, I misplayed. Before, actually no, I did not. I did not misplay, sorry. Saved myself there. Anyways, so after that, what I would probably do here is go ahead and activate Broken Bamboo. Put 1 on there again. Go ahead and activate Golden Bamboo, which is going to put 2. And let us draw 2, which is always nice. And we get Cursed Bamboo and a Broken Bamboo, which is really bad. Okay, Pot of Duality, which is going to take us to 3. And then 1, 2, 3. So here, it's a little bit of a hard choice, because we could take the hand destruction to dead a couple of these, which would be nice, but at the same time that would leave us with like no hand presence. But we are going to draw off of the Royal Magical Library anyways, so I guess it's just safer to take the Golden Bamboo. Free draws straight up, and we're just trying to, you're not trying to see any Exodia pieces early. You would prefer to see them later, to where you don't have much left in the deck. So from here, we'll just go ahead and shuffle, have the Golden Bamboo, effective Magical Library again, draw, Magical Citadel. Okay, now that is a good one to have. So we'll go ahead and play that, put 1 back on this bad boy. Insurance, Golden Bamboo, draw 2 again, Royal Magical Library, and Golden Bamboo. Okay, not bad. So that would put, oh, I fucked up. Yeah, so this would be at 2, and this would be at 1, because of the Golden Bamboo. Now, we probably just be smart again and activate Golden Bamboo once more, which puts this at 3, puts this at 2, we draw 2, 1 piece of Exodia, and a double summon. Okay, now that's getting pretty good. So Royal Magical Library effect, draw, Magical Mallet, that's the saver of dead hands. We'll activate double summon, putting this back at 1, putting this at 3. Then this is where it gets a little fun. Effective Citadel, remove to replicate, get an Upstart Goblin. Use our double summons effect to put another Royal Magical Library on board, which helps a lot. Next, go ahead and start using some of these free draws. So we'll Upstart Goblin. Don't really need to keep track of these anymore because it's can't be used again till we get a second copy. Draw with our Upstart. Cursed Bamboo, another dead card. Now we officially go into 1 day apiece. Draw again. Pot of Duality. 3 and 2. Now remember, you gotta keep track of what you've already used. We've already used Pot of Duality, so it's another dead card. So now, from here, we really have no choice but to clear these counters, draw, Magical Citadel, that's actually pretty damn lucky, so we'll overplay that, putting this at 3 and this at 1, effect, remove, draw, another leg of Exodia. We don't want those yet. So if we were to Magical Mallet here, we would get 3, 6, 7 cards shuffled into the deck and drawn. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and Magical Mallet, which is gonna put 1, it's gonna put 2, it's gonna put 1, then we will shuffle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards back into the deck and hope we get something we can actually use right now. If it's dead cards, we definitely want hand instructions and stuff with them, but we'll see what we can get. At this point, gotta hope for the best. So, shuffled our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a little unfortunate because we drew multiple Toon Tables of Contents when we would normally want to search those out. And we also drew the Toon World in which those help. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, just because I know we only have 1 left, I'm going to Toon Table the Contents, which will take these both to 2 and this to 3. And I'm going to search the Toon Table of Contents, the last one out of the deck, just to help out a little bit. Deck's getting pretty thin now. Okay, so that's been shuffled. Make sure we use this middle one's effect. Draw, piece of Exodia, not really what we needed right now. And then from here, a couple of these cards are dead. So we'll go ahead and Magical Stone Excavation. Before I resolve its effect though, let me just make sure I put these all at the right. We'll discard these 2 cards and we'll get back a Golden Bamboo Sword because broken. So next, before we Golden Bamboo Sword, we have the benefit of being able to remove and draw. Piece of Exodia, remove and draw, hand destruction. Before we go into the hand destruction desperation, we'll go ahead and activate this Golden Bamboo Sword again, which is going to put this at 2, this at 1. Don't need to care about the Citadel anymore. Draw 2, Magical Citadel, and another Exodia piece. Go ahead and activate another Magical Citadel, which is going to put this at 3, this at 2. Effective Magical Library, remove, draw, another piece of Exodia. So we have 4 pieces of Exodia right now. So what I'd probably do here, as much as it would hurt, is I would probably hand destruction both of these. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll hand destruction, which will put this at 1, put this at 1, and this at 3. And we'll pitch both these 2 table of contents, even though it hurts. Draw 2 cards, Magical Library and Pot of Duality. And now we will remove from Magical Library, draw. Still can't get that Exodia, but it's okay. We will hand destruction again, which is going to go 2, 2, and 1. And then we will pitch Pot of Duality and Cursed Bamboo. Draw, draw. Man, still no Exodia, but it's okay, because thankfully we got a shit ton of spells. We'll go ahead and activate Toon World, put this at 3, put this at 3. We'll go ahead and remove, draw, remove, draw. Oof, man, talk about unlucky. So we got 3 cards left in the deck, and seemingly no realistic way to draw anymore besides potentially just Magical Malading, but I'm going to go ahead and activate Double Summon to put a second counter there, and to put a counter here. We'll go ahead and Magical Mallet, which will take this to 3 and this to 2, and that'll let us shuffle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards into the deck when there was only 3 left. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle, shuffle, play the honesty game here. Shuffle as much as we can, shuffle as much as we can. We draw 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we got big oofed. We pretty much got the same exact thing we had in our hand, but the good thing is we can remove this Magical Library, and bam, we got lucky. Drew the 5 pieces of Exodia. So like I said, it's like Solitaire by yourself. Some might find this exceptionally boring, but it's better than staring at your wall or playing on remote duels where you get shitty rulings and people cheating all day. But as you can see, if played the right way and if you get lucky, this is a good little way to kill time on the side. I personally have fun with it. I mean, who doesn't enjoy playing with themselves once in a while? Your life can be great, and that private time alone, just you and Exodia, nothing could really beat that. So, you know, no double entendre intended. And carry that with you how you will. And that's Joe from Yugioh signing out. Peace. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know all the newer cards that draw way better than these old ass ancient dinosaurs I'm using in this deck.